Greetings. Welcome to Martlet Games. I am Patrick Gill, your storyteller for our final installment here of our Stars Without Number Prelude series. Joining me here on screen, we've got Steve, Rose, and Zach loading up for one last go. I'll go through my little spiel here, have you all introduce yourselves, and then we'll jump in and finish this off. So, welcome to Stars Without Number. In the year 2108, humanity developed a device called the Spike Drive, which shunted a spacecraft into extra-dimensional space and allowed light years of distance to be traveled in mere weeks. Exposure to this space led to the development of psionic abilities in certain humans, and their gifts were harnessed to usher in a golden age for the species. A sprawling intergalactic government called the Terran Mandate regulated laws and trade throughout known space, and humanity flourished. Technological advancement led to the new and dangerous discoveries ranging from radical genetic engineering to almost immediate travel to far-off galaxies. This all came to a brutal end in 2665 when an event called the Scream destroyed every ship equipped with a spike drive and killed every psionic in an instant. The Terran Mandate collapsed and every world was forced to rely solely on itself. Whole planets died as importing needed supplies like food, water, and medicine was impossible, and their economies were specialized towards specific purposes to help prop up the bulk of humanity. What tech survived the Scream started to falter, and centuries of despair and darkness, known as the Silence, nearly brought us to extinction. Not all was lost. Frontier worlds, not completely crippled by the Scream, rebuilt what they could, and humanity trudged through as it always does. The year is now 3200, and individual star sectors have rebuilt as best they can. We shift our focus to Tatum Prime in the Foramen 7 system, where a trio of unlikely companions are about to take their first steps to exploring the stars without number. And joining us once again here, we've got Steve. Go ahead and say hello.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Rieger. I'll be playing Colin Green tonight.
Next up is Rose.
Hey everyone, my name's Rose. I'll be playing Cressida or Sid Green tonight.
And finally, Zach.
Hello, I'm Zach Rivaudo, and tonight I'm playing Altus 266.
And Zach's vocal effect is on fleek tonight. This is, yes, rocking and rolling.
Thank you, storyteller.
You are more than welcome. So we're going to pick back up where we left off. Our party here had infiltrated the super secret lost bunker out in the exclusion zone. There were rumors circulating about it's called post-tech, so it'd be like post-Scream tech that somehow, some way, the government managed to build a few ships with spike drives, and this one here had been mothballed in a secret underground hangar. A scavenger had discovered the location, and there have been various groups trying to make their way out. Sid here had a plan, needed the muscle. Altus needs to get to space, and needs an extra set of hands to help get that done, needs a ship. And Colin, of course, needed to get out of jail. Didn't matter where he ended up after that. And so the group found the bunker, found the remnants of a long ago battle. People dead where they laid at their posts, sat at their desks, slept in their beds. But down below, you finally found the access to the hangar. Altus, you used your, we'll say, innate talents and skills to crack open the security on the door. And once the blast doors opened, you all three were greeted by a rapid burst of laser fire. You all took cover back behind the door. And this is where we pick up. So, the laser fire tears through the open doorway. You all were almost expecting something to be on the other side of the door, and were kind of poised and ready. No sooner had the shots gotten off that the three of you had taken your cover. The shots sprayed for all of just 2 or 3 seconds, and then stopped. Silence followed.
That is not good.
I knew this was too easy.
This has to be too easy. The cover that we have, can we only see above it, or can we see around it?
Well, think of it like you were all on the you're all hidden behind
sides of the door.
The door frame. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of quick
Jared,
glance.
All right. So, Colin, you poke your head out. You see once again the silhouette of the ship at the far end of the chamber. The lighting in here is kept low, and you can see that the ship, it's hard to make out the individual, surface detailing. It doesn't have the most elegant frame, but assuming that it works, should get the job done. You see scattered throughout the hangar here, there's strategically placed boxes, crates, shipping containers, barricades that had been erected. It's really hot down here now that you're really starting to notice the temperature change. You've been down here, the door's been open for a moment or two, and you can almost see, the faint heat shimmer of the heat exchange, like how you would, on a cold winter's night or a cold winter day, the sunlight bouncing off of, a reflective surface. You get that little And Colin, you don't immediately see anybody. You're also not immediately shot at.
I'm going to keep my head there until somebody takes the shot, or if I could see somebody and then duck in. I'm a small target right now.
Mm-hmm. And I want you to go ahead here. You're not going to get shot at. Let's go ahead. Give me a... Give me a wisdom and notice, please.
Wisdom and notice.
It's a good little skill check there. Don't know if it's a good skill check for Colin, but it's a good skill check to do what you need to do.
Better than kick to the shin, so.
Yep.
8.
You think you see someone kind of doing the same thing that you are. They've got their head kind of poked out from behind cover. You don't see any weapons kind of trained from back behind the cover. They're just looking.
Okay.
Have you seen anything?
Cut my head back. There's something living that's firing at us.
Living?
So it's not turrets. I just see one. I see the ship, so we need to watch where we fire.
Storyteller, did that feel like a number of bullets or firepower that would come from a single gun?
Going off of the timing, you get the impression that there were multiple firearms, or multiple, in this case, laser weapons.
So there's probably more.
One moment, I'm going to pull out one of the glow bugs and pick a light. And I'm just going to, without looking through the door, I'm going to just huck this backwards through and up.
Okay.
And I'm just going to listen.
Okay. It's easy enough. I'm not going to require a roll for that. That's simple stuff. So you toss the glow bug out, and it kind of wobbles in the air, and then it finally kind of stabilizes. The glow bug itself isn't bright enough to illuminate the whole room. You do, at the very least, get to see into some of the lighter shadows of the area.
For clarification, my intention is not to see.
Okay.
I am listening to see if it is shot at, and if so, at what speed.
Yep. We're getting there.
Okay. I'm saying because I did not turn back around.
Yep. But as far as anyone actually taking any hostile action at it, nothing happened. Yeah, it's still silent in the other room.
Let's go. Then I'll wait and listen. I believe you are correct that there are no automatic weapons, or if there are, they are much more discerning.
Okay. Well, Sid, you ready?
We come this far. Either we go to space in Altus, either way we're going to get you there, or we all get shot at and die.
I'm not willing to turn back.
There is no going back, so we're in this.
I live for this. Let's do this. I'll take point.
Just know it was an honor fighting with you, whatever happens.
Hoorah.
What is Ura?
It comes from it's a saying
Fraternal
that's been
twin
followed
speak.
through. It happens. It's
Interesting.
So
like amen.
what is Colin? What's your intent here?
My intent is to make it to the first object, barricade that I can safely put myself behind, and start, again, grasping what's going on, seeing what's going there, trying to pinpoint a little bit where I'm going to make sure I'm not going to get shot in the face by somebody around the corner. Mm-hmm. But ultimately just start taking point, moving forward to where I know the guy is. How far was the one person looking at me?
If you were to guess, the hangar itself is probably 400 meters deep. So, I mean, it's a pretty big space. Nearest barricade's probably 75 meters past the door. And the individual that you saw was maybe 150 meters in. And the ship's at the opposite end of the hangar, so...
Okay. 175 meters, I feel comfortable moving quickly. If a random spray of fire comes at me from all angles, I will be coming back, guys.
Before you go, can you point me to where you saw the individual?
I'll point 175 meters to the right of where I am.
Let us look. Thank you.
Let's go.
All right, so Colin.
Hey, Altus, stay with me unless you find any other reason to split off. I'll leave it to you.
Understood.
Okay, so Rose and Altus, you're basically intending on providing Colin with cover fire?
Yeah.
Okay. Colin, I want you to go ahead and you're going to make a skill check. Go ahead and give me a... I think Dex and... You know what? Exert.
Aw. Who takes exert in this game? I mean...
Nice.
Good thing I leveled that up.
Making sure I'm doing all my points right for skill check, skill level. Modifier. That's a 9.
That is a 9.
Yes.
What's your armor class?
I'm sitting at an AC of 15.
AC of 15?
Yes.
They are pretty slow on the draw. You've managed to stay fit. You took care of your body while you've been locked up. And, yeah, I mean, it's a labor camp. It's hard to stay out of shape at a labor camp. You get, I would say, just almost to the cover before they start to realize that you've even moved, and they start shooting.
Okay.
They miss you by a mile. Not even close.
Where am I able to see where they're coming from since they're shooting laser weapons?
Yes, actually. Those shots came from around the area where you saw the individual.
Okay.
Do we
There's one
see?
barrage from there.
Yep.
Do we see him moving and the shots come off from where we are?
Yep. You see.
Okay.
Yep. The two of you see everything play out as described.
Okay. The moment that he is behind cover, I'm going to throw my arm forward and a small. It looks like a metal rod. It's a laser pistol. It's designed more like a Dillinger, and I'm going to open fire at the location. I'm not aiming for the individual. I'm aiming to make them go back.
Okay. Let me see here. This isn't I wouldn't call this an attack roll per se.
I can do a shoot check if you would like.
That would actually work. Go ahead and
Make sure you don't hit them.
You can use either your dex or intelligence, whatever one is better.
They aren't.
Okay.
Seven.
You managed to get them to duck and go back under cover. There's no return fire.
Okay. And then I will duck back down next to Sid and go, okay.
All right, Sid, I want to give Sid the opportunity to do something here if you wanted to do anything, Sid.
I was gonna be ready to go out. I'm just like, I think we got cover here. But let's join the fray and get in there.
Okay.
All right, so are you gonna run forward and kind of split off separate from Colin? Like
Yes.
go behind a different... Okay, so you're flanking. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan.
Okay, I'm gonna do kind of the same thing as what I did initially with Colin when I had him charge forward. Altus, since you're kind of following behind Sid, I'm gonna have Sid be the one to make the check.
Okay.
And we'll kind of play it out from there. We'll see how things go. So Sid, go ahead and give me a dex and exert.
Sorry, one sec. And 6. Okay. That's a 7.
Okay. They rolled really, really poorly. You and Altus get behind cover before they don't even bother shooting. or they might as well have not even bothered. The two of you get back behind cover, and then there's a few pew pew pew, but nothing to be drastically threatened by, at least for now.
And Sid just says over her shoulder, just whispers it, missed.
Colin, that shot came from somewhere else.
Okay. Did I see where that shot came from,
yes,
or am I? Okay. I would like to pull out my sniper from my back holster and take a glance at where that came from, and if it shows its head or torso, I will take a shot.
Okay, here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm trying to think of something good here for you.
Good.
Here's what I'm going to have you do. I want you to do a... I'll let you do whichever one of these is higher. Give me a con or a wisdom and shoot.
I do got shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I got a decent shoot. 10.
Okay. You're surveying the, for lack of a better term, battlefield, and you don't see anyone in the immediate area where that second shot came from. But I have determined that if you have command of the hangar at this point in time, if anything on their side moves, you're going to be able to react. Okay? Now, before this, we'll say, devolves any further into a bad situation for the team inside the hangar, someone... you hear a voice out in the darkness. They speak in something resembling the Terran Mandate common that you all are currently speaking. The language has evolved over time from when, just because of the separation caused by the Scream and everything else, the lack of the central communication network, everything kind of devolved into its own little separate dialects. Everyone, if you ran into someone else from another planet in the system, you all would be able to communicate without a problem. But the language that they're speaking, it's definitely Terran Mandate, but it's not like what you all currently speak. You're able to communicate, but it's you maybe can't understand one out of every 5 or 6 words. Stop. Don't shoot. No more. Hold.
If I can make eye contact with Colin, I'm just gonna
If you want to talk, go for it. One makes a wrong move, though, I'll take him out.
All right. Sid's just gonna stand right up from where she is and step from behind cover. And put her gun away in her holster and put her hands up.
No shots. Off to a good start.
You want to come out? I'm out. Might as well too. I hope they understand me.
All 3 of you hear murmuring from inside the hangar. Sounds like there's actually a lot of people in here. You can't see them, but they're in here. More than the two shooters that you've been able to identify so far. Someone finally, from one of the bigger barricades, gets up, and he also has his hands up. He's wearing a military uniform that you haven't really seen before. All three of you don't recognize either the insignia, the design, hell, even the color. This is something that this is strange. And they come forward. Stop. No shoot.
No shoot.
No shoot.
No shoot.
How you come?
From upstairs, come down that way.
More murmuring in the background. And the one that you're speaking to, he's How many?
First, leader.
Yes.
You leader.
Yes.
Five. Two
Okay.
up there.
Okay. We talk. You leave.
We talk. Why are you here?
There's more murmuring. And then you see a few more people get up from all over the hangar.
How do they all look?
We'll get
Sorry.
there. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, I know. I know. You're like, I know. I get that. You're fine.
Details.
So there's. It's kind of hard to see through the glow or the dim glow of the glow bug, but all three of you think you can see there's about 20 people here. All of them are wearing the same military uniform. And I want you all... Well, you know what? You all are going to notice this here. This is going to be fairly easy to spot. They all... Calling them all identical is a bit of a stretch, but you can see that they're... You could swear that they were all closely related. Maybe brother, sister, first cousins. But they're all early to mid-20s. We no shoot, you no shoot. Why you come?
Heard of ship in here. Wanted to see for selves. Wanted to know rumors were true.
What year?
She says the year, it's 32?
3200.
3200.
That upsets quite a few of the individuals in here.
Sid kind of backs up and makes it kind of clear. She's like,
and there's some raised voices in the back of the hangar. The anger doesn't seem to be necessarily directed towards the three of you. This seems to be more of an internal discussion.
They're not here to protect it. They're here. They were stuck here. They've been left. I think.
Storyteller.
Yes.
How well can I see them from my position? How detailed?
You from here, you've got a pretty good command of the room. You can, yeah.
They look very, very close to each other, very, like, almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
Do they look too perfect? Or do they look worn?
There's... The term symmetrical comes to mind.
Do they appear to have any natural aging that is visible?
No. You got it. You're heading in the right direction there.
At that, I'll stand up and walk up next to Sid.
With me.
They don't even they are now having a very intense internal deliberation right now. They are not even paying attention to the three of you.
I'm going to raise my voice. Literally just crank it up a few decibels. Excuse me.
They stop. Robot.
My designation is Altus 266. Who is your creator?
There's a lot of... They all go silent for a while. And then the one who's been kind of taking charge of the discussion kind of steps forward and he's... Come. Now.
Very well. And I'll walk forward away from Sid.
Sid's going to take a couple steps forward and she's just going to follow behind, or she's going to match his stepping.
I'm stone cold still with a rifle.
It's a good plan.
Okay.
Fair.
Colin, are you making any... I'm just for my own clarification here. Are you making any attempts to stay concealed, or are you, we'll say, actively behind cover, but like out? What's the story here?
Kind of crouched or prone on the ground. Now we're just kind of aimed. Now we know who the leader is, so I'm kind of focused on this, trying to figure out what is going on with this.
Okay.
I will let Sid know, hey, there's still a situation with a helicopter flying around, shooting at a truck back there. Let's not forget about that. Just in case. Keep an eye on this as well.
And your comms work just fine down here. It's all shortwave. You don't have to worry about, we don't have a signal because we're underground. No, you guys are fine. So,
Roger that.
Now, Sid and Altus, they take you about halfway through the hangar, and that's when you see that there's, various access hatches and whatnot. It isn't just the hangar. There's more to the facility down here. But they take you in to it looks to be something of a barracks area. There's racks, bunk beds kind of just lined up against a wall with the foot lockers at the end of each. Sid, I mean, you know a military installation when you're in one. I mean, this is very much a military barracks hall. Okay, the prim neatness, the sharp lines, the squared away corners. Mm-hmm.
Is it also a fair assumption that I'm coming to a similar conclusion as Altus is, seeing how they look?
Mm-hmm.
Just being like, Altus, you asked what who their creator was. Do you know what they might be?
You're muted.
I am between two options right now.
And those options are?
They are either automatons such as myself or they are clones. Either way, they have a creator.
Clones don't age?
It depends on the specifics of the bioengineering.
Neat. I mean, kind of sad if they were all left here regardless, but neat.
It would not be surprising if they were designated as a soldier program and thus locked in here.
You, as the two of you are going deeper through the facility, the uniformity gives way to, we'll say, some of the more disused areas of this section. There's almost a human touch to this area. They're we'll say civilian in comparison to the more militaristic areas. But Sid and Altus, you see up on the wall an old, faded, looks like a propaganda poster. Some sort of the written language is about the same, similar to the spoken. It's some sort of a recruitment poster of some kind. But it's not for the government of United Tatum. It's for some other organization, political party, something called oh god, I had this written down here. Hold on. Forgot it. So it's not United Tatum. It is actually the Tatum Federated Front. And you get into a section that you could consider it like a medical lab or some sort of a science facility. Sterile, white floors. If every other section of the hangar has been in disrepair and disuse, this is the most well-kept area that you've seen so far. But clean, sterile surfaces could be better well lit, but
appear well supplied.
That's the thing. There's really not much in here, except for a large. It looks like some sort of medical equipment. It's got display screens showing different, levels of various things. And it's, connected to the wall, through various wires and cables and tubes and whatnot. But your tour guide points at the machine. Creator. seed bank.
Interesting. When he points, I'm immediately. It's very gentle, but I'm going to just lift 2 fingers up and touch right under his wrist to feel for a pulse.
He's human.
Second option.
Clones.
The tour guide Altus has been kind of, after you touch him, he's kind of, and he starts like poking your forehead. What does it feel like to him?
It has a bit of give, but it has give in the way that vinyl does. It doesn't quite feel like flesh. It's enough where at a quick touch it wouldn't just feel hard and shell-like, but it's definitely protective coating more than anything else.
And he doesn't seem repulsed by the touch. It's more of a morbid curiosity than anything. Altus, if you were a human, you would definitely be getting upset with how invasive up in your personal space this guy is getting. He's starting to tug on your earlobes. He's tugging on hair. And anything that he can get his hands on,
I allow him to for approximately 30 seconds to a minute before I start mimicking his actions to him.
And as soon as he's like, sorry, stop, sorry.
Thank you.
You speak to computer.
I can attempt to, yes.
And he points to a terminal by the machine that he had shown you. Speak. History.
Thank you. And I will approach the terminal.
I'm not going to have you roll. Now, Altus, you can tell, though, that this is an old interface protocol. It's even older than what you're having to work with the door. This is actual legit Terran Mandate tech. You haven't worked on this yet.
No, I have not.
No.
Does there appear to be a logical input source?
Yes, it's everything got based off of the old Terran Mandate standard with some drift through time. This is, if you were to compare, like if Altus is like the new shit hot Mac, this is like an old like basic terminal.
Will I need to speak via manual input, or yes, is there a way to connect in?
Yeah, you'll the same way that you connected to the door panels would be how you would connect to this terminal.
Very good. So I will look over it, and then I will slowly pull out a line shunt and connect and plug in.
Okay. So Altus connects to the terminal, and Altus, the information that the computer initially spits out at you is that it has been approximately 300 years since an admin last accessed this terminal. And this was sort of the last holdout for the old government. The government that United Tatum replaced. There's a few of these sites left. This bunker's talking to another site somewhere on the planet.
Replaced as in overthrew, or replaced as in evolved into?
Overthrew.
Thank you.
this thing that you've been talking to, Altus, I mean, it's technically human. At least at the genetic level, it's human. But it's a copy of a copy of a copy, etc. and so forth.
Is the terminal I'm speaking to considered a virtual intelligence, or is it simply an algorithm?
It's simply an algorithm and an operating system. It doesn't you can't really have a conversation with it. You're just parsing information out of the databanks.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Now, the general gist of the way the system works here, Altus, is that there was a wing of the old government that had retreated here. They picked the best of the best that they had available, used them as the baseline for the genetic code. They knew they would never be able to sustain the population, and so they just let technology take control from there. They still engage in something resembling biological reproduction here. The system slowly manipulates the genetic code to prevent, we'll say, mutations from popping up as the generations progress. But biologically speaking, compared to the very first generation of clones that this machine created, in normal human standards, there's maybe only between however many centuries of generations here, there's maybe only the equivalent of 5 human generations of genetic drift that's happened so far.
Thank you.
And other than that, if there's any other information,
the location of the other terminals that it's speaking to.
That there is, it's actually a polar base, and it's definitely, we'll say a little bit, or it's definitely more, we'll say, well supplied than this one. That there would probably, if there's any currently working body of the old government, it would be in that bunker.
Approximately how far is that polar base from where we are located?
It would, if you were able to get in Sid's helicopter and fly without having to bother about refueling, it's about 2 days travel.
Thank you. I will disconnect.
Okay.
And I will turn to Sid. It appears to be a form of enclosed eugenics from one of the prior governments, sustaining a best of population.
Yeah, whatever this federated.
There is a phrase that I picked up working for Vesuvius. New boss, same as the old boss.
Another ancient Earth expression. Kind of leading into that sentiment, we're going to pivot over to Colin here before we go to break. So, Colin, you've been perched up here behind this barricade, as Sid and Altus have been, we'll say, being given their history lesson. And you can see the leader had broken off taking Sid and Altus back behind and leaving the other 19 or so individuals out here to talk amongst themselves. You can see that they've kind of broken off into little breakout groups, and they all seem to be kind of having their own separate discussions about what the hell is going on. I take it you're not moving, you're not changing your position, you're staying exactly where you're at.
I'm doing that and occasionally looking behind me. I will hit up Sid and just be like, what's going on? Where are you guys?
We're at this piece of old tech over here. Altus is just... Oh, no, he's unplugged. From a thing, and yeah, a lot of info. This is old government. These are copies of people from previous. And yeah, trust me, I'm just about to say that we should figure out what they need at this point in time.
I think I have an idea to get the ship. Let's reconvene. And as I do that, I turn the sniper rifle off the crowd of people.
Mm-hmm.
I flip it around to start facing the door where people are, and I will start slowly backing towards the crowd while facing the other side.
Okay. Now, Colin, you haven't heard anything from back behind. You are at this point in time, 100 and some odd feet below the surface of the planet. This thing is a fortified bunker. The entire world could be getting glassed from orbit right now, and you probably wouldn't be able to tell.
It's true, but in my head, we made it in here without a scratch.
You did. You did. Now, as you get over to the group there, Colin, one of the individuals comes up to you, and he's he's making a point to carry himself in a very militaristic manner. You know a Captain Percy when you see one. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of, he's the type of officer that, he leads with his rack. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. You know the kind. Yep.
Oh boy, that type.
Mm-hmm. You Army.
Was.
What rank?
Staff Sergeant.
Second Lieutenant.
Good to meet you. How long have you been down here?
No clock, no calendar.
Sid would have relayed to you how long it's been. It's been about 300 years.
Gotcha. Sounds like we might have the same opponents.
United Tatum.
I think there might be a way to get you guys back in the fight.
He points up. Gas. All dead.
I made it through.
No numbers.
Is it a gas that only affects you?
No. Poison pill. If we can't, no one. Or if we cannot, no one.
Oh. There's a lot of stuff going on the outside world right now that you do not know about going on. And once the man in charge comes back, we will try to settle and fix this.
He reaches down and he does it slowly so you can see what he's doing, but he undoes the strap of his sidearm in the holster. He takes it out. It's an old piece of tech, Colin. The training weapons that you were given at basic are better off than this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he, has the gun by the barrel and he's offering you the grip test. And he's kind of pointing at the sniper rifle. Trade, test, give back.
I will slowly look at him. As a soldier, you never give up your gun.
Not soldier, officer.
Yeah, I know. And then I go back to where I am.
And this is where we will take our break. So we've averted a major conflict.
Not 5 minutes before we started this, I was like, we're going to go blazing.
Same.
I had everyone go like, "Hey, make sure all of your quick sheets on your sheet are filled out for your weapon stats and everything. You might need them." I'm the kind of storyteller that doesn't toss combat out just for the sake of having combat. I like giving my players the option of getting out of something if that's a possibility. And so far, so good. We're not out of the woods yet. Come back after intermission. We'll catch the last bit. See you then. everyone. Welcome back to the last half of the last episode here of our Stars Without Number Prelude series here. So, our group has kind of regathered here in the hangar. Altus and Sid discovered some pertinent information as far as who these individuals down here are. And Colin engaged in a little bit of a attempted cultural exchange with the clones here. Now, the group of clones have kind of scattered. They've gone about their resuming what passes for their daily lives. The leader and Colin, your second lieutenant there, your boot officer, flexing with his insignia. Yeah, he's kind of acting as an aide-de-camp to the leader here, taking notes, kind of muttering some suggestions to his boss. But the conversation has turned to why the three of you are down here. The ship. The leader has kind of finished having his conversation with the lieutenant, and he's looking at the three of you. You want the ship.
It is imperative that we leave with it.
The planet is, and they've been picking up, we'll call it your dialect, over the past, we'll say hour or so that you've been down here.
Yes.
The ship, you will leave planet and do what?
There are many other locations to explore. Beyond this one. Beyond this world. There is infinite possibility.
You leave, not come back.
We might come back.
Maybe.
Nothing is certain. The intention is not to come back for quite some time.
You leave, we are found.
There is a location of a similar base, approximately 2 contiguous days' travel north.
I know the facility.
It is more stocked than yours.
They are not affiliated with our government.
I am sorry to inform you, but at current standing, your government no longer exists.
He's
Glad someone had to say it.
looking around the hangar, looks to the ship, looks to the three of you. We cannot stop you leaving. We political exiles.
Would you be considered exiled from the secondary bunker?
Yes.
Why is your machine communicating with it?
Redundant network. Can't turn it off.
Why are you exiled?
Political differences. They wanted to capitulate to United Tatum, exist as puppet government. We refuse fascism.
Are you... And storyteller, I will look to the ship. Can you describe the size of the ship to me?
All right, so as far as ships go, this thing, it's not a frigate. As far as like military classification, that would be like the smallest military ship available. It's not as big as a frigate. Sid would probably consider this more in line with a troop transport. Not quite as large as we'll say a midline like cargo freighter. If you wanted to, in theory, leave with the clones, because I think that's the direction you're kind of maybe heading here, at least thinking about it.
I've been considering.
If this expression tells you anything.
I mean, it is, in theory, they could fit.
So looking to the ship and looking back to them, I ask, are you specifically exiled on this planet, in this system?
Never made contact off-world.
You
So
can't be exiled if they don't know you.
Your troubles stay on land here.
Yes. And then you can see the light bulb click on.
Describe the daily upkeep that is required for your people to maintain. Supplies that you might need for a travel.
Daily nutrition allotment distributed by network. Amino acid cocktail, can eat standard ration, synthesized. And he's pointing at a terminal over off the wall.
Is the terminal locked to the wall, or is it?
Yeah, it's part of the infrastructure.
Okay.
Can eat standard ration.
How much supply can that produce in a given point of time?
Timed allotment. Recirculating, regenerating system.
So it is limited by the supply that it possesses.
Yes, set ration allotment, not unsure how science works. But we are fed 3 times daily. 800, 1300, 1900.
I can look into the machine for you to see what we are able to produce. We do not know the distance that we are traveling, thus we do not know the time that we are traveling, thus we do not know the amount of rations that will be required to preserve all numbers on the ship. And at that point I will look to Sid and Colin and say, I do hope that this is an acceptable compromise to the two of you. I know that we did not have much of a plan.
I was giving them a reason to fight, but if the other place is not working with them and it's only 20, they're not going to do well out in the world. Would like to have a unit behind me.
The options that I am foreseeing, and at this point I'm speaking to all 3 of them, the options that I am foreseeing are full accompaniment to the next location where we will make landfall, or possible commandeering of an exospace ship that they might survive on and go elsewhere.
So
I can agree to that.
There are other worlds then?
Many.
Without number, in fact.
I see what you did there.
I beat you to it, Colin.
We can survive off-world.
On some of them.
Political refugee.
Mm-hmm.
Some worlds are more affiliated than others, from what I understand.
Perhaps some worlds may be even more open-minded. And some places don't know who you are.
Most places don't know who you are.
No need for discussion. They will follow orders. I am in charge. We leave with you.
Excellent.
We make preparations.
Excellent. And I'll turn back to Sid and Colin. I'm going to attempt to see if their food synthesizer is able to be overridden and overproduce. To my understanding, there is still the matter of a surveillance helicopter outside once we take off.
I will look to the leader. I need 5 of your men, and we can go take care of the issue that we have upstairs.
Required skills.
Soldier.
And he takes out a data pad. He makes a couple of beep boops.
And repelling. I'll look to Colin.
Yeah,
I do not think that you can make the jump.
Yeah, let's do the repelling. That might help.
And before you know it, you've got 5 individuals.
Sid, would you care to look over the ship while Colin takes his men?
That was my plan. I looked to the leader, and I'm just like, I would require 2 assistants. Anyone who's in computer engineering or knows any piloting.
Understood. Beep boop.
Reference to women because women in work.
Mm-hmm. And before you know it, you've got the individuals that you've requested, and you can set about giving the ship a thorough inspection, giving it a once-over. And Altus, you're going to spend your time tinkering with the machine here to see if we can...
I'm attempting to hack the food processor and override it, yes.
Okay.
Overclock it, more specifically.
Yeah. We'll go ahead. We'll have you make your roll first here, Altus. That's going to be the... we'll say the simplest resolution here.
Okay.
And let's see here. I think we can probably say you're going to attempt to suppress the we'll call it the production governor.
If there is a built-in production governor that is regulating the supply and not simply a supply limit, then yes, I would like, once I tap in, I would like to get a sense of how the system works in order to know what I need to do.
Okay. All right, that should be fine. In
which case, I think I'm asking a specific question to start.
Okay. You're able to access the synthesizer without an issue. This is it is tied into one of the leader spoke of redundant systems earlier. This is tied into one of those redundant systems. This is going to be one of the last things that would ever stop working if this facility were to go dark, so to speak. You can go ahead and you can make your hacking roll here.
So that's an 8 on answering a specific question to figure out, am I shutting down a governor program and thus the replicator will continue, or are there limited supplies and we'll only be able to make a certain amount?
Okay. There is a governor in place to prevent the system from becoming overstressed. What the system basically does is it takes raw carbon and other base elements, and then it basically uses that, it uses carbon and nitrogen basically, or carbon and hydrogen, and from there it can basically synthesize any amino acid that the body would need for we'll say chemical sustenance, and then from there it's just a matter of eating enough of it in the right ratios to meet the caloric requirements. So the system is, you're able to basically get it to produce its full quota in one go. You're able to get one extra cycle a day out of it. You can get 4 in 24 hours, but that's if you do anything more than that. You can get 5 cycles total, and then the system just goes completely dead.
Am I able to, by suppressing the governor system, am I able to expedite the process to get more cycles completed, or is it a matter of mechanical limitation?
If you suppress the governor system, it's basically diminishing returns. So the more you keep working the system, the more stress it causes on it. So if you were to basically try to get it to run flat out nonstop to produce as much as it physically could as quickly as it could, you could basically get 5 full meal cycles. So that would be breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch for all of the clones, and then the system goes dead. It will physically break.
Looking back towards either Colin or Sid, whoever has not left yet, I will inquire, and also to the leader. How much preparation time are we planning on spending in this location before we depart?
We require minimal personal belongings. We can leave within 2 hours.
Sid, are we planning on staying longer for preparations, or are we leaving within 2 hours?
I'd say we'd be living within 2 hours, however long it takes to take care of... Actually, Colin, sort of an ETA on how long it would take to deal with the bogey outside, if you will?
It shouldn't take long. I can get it within 2 hours, I'm sure.
And with 2 assistants, I can go through the ship really quickly, too.
Very good. Before I completely lock up the machine and damage it beyond repair, could you see if there's a navigation system to tell me how long it will take to get to the nearest inhabitable planet?
On it.
Thank you. And I will wait for that information before I determine just how much I'm going to push this machine.
Okay. We'll pivot over then to Sid. Now, Sid, you're giving the ship a complete top-to-bottom inspection. Okay, you've got 2 assistants. This machine has, this ship has effectively been mothballed for, hundreds of years. But this is a sterile environment. This thing was built with the best materials and technology available at the time, which is more than the current government and infrastructure can provide. Couldn't ask for a better ship at this, at least right now, given the circumstances on the planet. Doesn't have much in the way of weaponry. It does have, it has a basic countermeasure system for any kind of guided munitions like, missiles, etc., and so forth. It does have a basic rudimentary, like laser cannon on it. You're not going to be fighting your way out of any massive planetary blockades with this thing anytime soon. Okay. Power systems all seem to be good. You have absolutely no idea how the spike drive in this ship works. It is a completely different design compared to the ones that you've you've never left the system. You've been in ships that have had spike drives in them. You've never been allowed to spin them up. Okay.
Yeah.
You know how.
Wanted to several times, but demerits and shit.
Yeah. That is the quickest way to get yourself grounded permanently. And end up next to Colin in the labor camp.
No, thank you. Can't have both green siblings in the camp now, can we? No.
Nope.
The place would have blown up quicker.
It's true. Actually, it's true.
They knew better. Now,
they do know better. They do know to exclude Sid just altogether. Anyways.
Yeah.
Fucking piss her off. Anyways.
Yeah, you do get the ship's auxiliary power systems up and running, and you're able to start getting the ship sort of warmed up. It's going to take a little bit of time to get the ship actually, ready to fly, even from here. I want you to go ahead, as far as getting the ship connected, or the nav system, to get the information that Altus is needing. I'm going to need you to give me a intelligence and the computer thingy here.
Computer thingy?
Yeah, program.
Okay. That's a 6.
The issues with the ship being where it is, and trying to get this network talking to the actual operational planetary network is a bit much. You think even Altus would be hard-pressed to get this accomplished. You're really not going to be able to see what's out there until you get out there. Now, Sid, sorry. You can, however, give me a wisdom and no.
That's a 5.
You know that there is some sort of, there is a orbital space station off planet. Okay, and this acts as sort of the hub for this planetary system to reach out to the rest of the galactic sector at large. There are other planets out there. You know that there should be at least one other system that this ship can get to from where you're at. What's in that other system, you don't know. But you're gonna have to wait and see until you get out there.
The only way to know how far it is just once we get out there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, once the ship is actually outside the bunker and it can actually make contact with the network at large, you won't have any problem. You're not going to be able to pull this off how Altus wants it, though.
Cool. Altus.
Yes.
Progress. Unfortunately, either due to the base or due to just lack of being in the actual space itself, I won't be able to tell what system we'd be able to get to from here. There is a system out there. Yes, there are other planets out there. The only thing I can think of getting to where we can figure this out is what was it? You said satellite planet?
There's an orbital space station.
An orbital space station, yeah.
Altus also knows of the station.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, Altus is also able to kind of draw the same conclusions that you are. It's just you've got the context of, hey, I can get you the information, but we need to get out of here first.
That is unfortunate. Are you able to determine approximate travel abilities of the ship? Distance per day, distance per cycle.
Mm-hmm. This ship is capable of up to this would be 3 drill jumps. If you were to for those of you playing the home game on a there is a each planet or each galactic sector is a hex map, and then each hex is one like drill space. Your ship is capable of moving up to 3 hexes on the sector map. There is actually here, let me pull this up real quick.
3 per what?
It's 3 per week. So you have approximately 1 week of in space travel before you get to the next star system.
How long will it take me to process roughly a week's worth of supply from this machine? I can do less if it's going to take an unreasonable amount of time. Storyteller.
Alright, so there's 20 clones.
Yes.
This machine does three meals a day per clone. Without the governor running, you can do 4 meals per day per clone. You could, in theory, produce up to... In 1 week's worth of time, you could produce... I think it's going to be roughly like a month worth of meals.
You said in 1 week's worth of time I could produce a month?
Yeah.
How much could I produce in the next few hours? Not running it at full capacity. I will be burning the machine out at the rate I'm going, but I'm trying to not do so within only 5 meals.
Gotcha. You can get... Tell you what. Here's what we'll do.
Yes.
You tell me what you ultimately want to accomplish, and I'm going to have you make a roll.
I want to produce as much meal prep as possible.
Without destroying the machine.
Without destroying the machine in a single go. And I want to my goal is to be able to last through as many of those hex jumps as I can.
Okay.
Because I do not know when we will be able to procure rations unless we raid the orbital space station.
And I wouldn't advise doing that. It's... All right, tell you what. Go ahead and you can give me an intelligence and... give me an intelligence and program, please.
Okay. Seven? Yes.
Tell you what, if you intend on leaving the hangar here in the next 2 hours, I'll say that you can produce like 2 weeks worth of rations for the clones.
That will suffice.
Okay. And yes, I'm checking the Zoom chat. Yes, they can eat human food.
Yes, they can. I just do not know where we will find it until we get to the next system.
Mm-hmm. That is
They've
true.
been down here for hundreds of years. They do not have human food down here.
No, they do not.
I am going to then initiate the hack to slowly suppress the governor bit by bit until I am able to achieve the amount that we need before the machine locks up.
Okay, that works for me. So, Altus is doing his thing. Sid is doing her thing, getting the ship prepped. I'm not going to have you do any rolls for this. This is pretty simple standard stuff, unless there's anything special that Sid was wanting to accomplish with the ship.
Nothing much. Actually, it's more something special with the other two clones. She also just gets to know them.
Okay.
That's about it.
Sounds good.
Just idle chit-chat, idle banter. Nothing to go into or anything like that.
Okay. So before we proceed any further here, there was one little piece of housekeeping that I wanted to get squared away in case it comes down to it. Sid, you are the effective captain of this ship. Okay?
By proxy, haha.
So, I will tell you that there is as far as the positions available on the ship, there's captain, bridge, engineering, navigation, and weapons. Okay? Now, from here, you'll be able to assign people to their various, stations. People can also just hey, yeah, I'm gonna take this. So we'll come down or we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I just wanted to make sure that we got that squared away now, so we have that little bit of taken care of.
Yeah.
So now, Colin, you've got your wrecking crew here. Now, I'm gonna say that you're not gonna have any issues getting up out of the elevator shaft. Okay. You're not under any kind of actual duress at this point in time. You're able to be deliberate. You're fine. Okay.
Yeah.
The grunts that are with you do kind of fill you in on as you're progressing through the rest of the facility higher up. You are kind of filled in on the bits and pieces of what happened.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Long story short, United Tatum had cornered this last holdout of the old government. They had actually gone through a months-long siege before their supplies ran out. There was an attempt to parlay. United Tatum took advantage and just stormed the facility.
Gotcha.
And the leadership decided, nope. They pushed a button, killed everyone. Except for the handful of the leadership way down below.
Gotcha. I will, as we're going up, I'll also relay to them the situation up top with what's going on, but I will let them know that, my enemy is your enemy, so we're friends now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Now, as far as getting the door open, you don't have Altus here.
That's true.
You do, however, have 5 able-bodied, genetically engineered individuals.
That helps.
Surely that equals one of me.
And they do manage to get the door open. as far as getting the power turned back on, that's not going to be happening here. The system doesn't have a lot of utility left in it. Basically, yeah, the redundant systems are still running because they need to be kept running.
Yeah.
Now you open the door and you realize how hot it actually is outside. You've been down below underground for a couple hours now. And yeah, it's warm. Now, you're still wearing your survival kit.
Yes.
For going out into the exclusion zone. They were able to put together, I mean, you filled them in on the, what it's like outside now, and they were able to, yeah.
Don't step in the sand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So I take it you're going to be the one to take point here and kind of check things out?
Yeah, I'm looking for... I'm first looking for humans on the bodies on the ground that maybe if the helicopter has landed. Mm-hmm. I'm also looking aerial, listening, just kind of following the lead, trying to catch everything that's in view, hitting the little barriers that are on the little stairs there, making sure that we're taking our cover, taking our time. We got 2 hours to do this.
All right, okay. So you poke out from the rock slide in front of the door. And the attack helicopter is still there. It's hovering. It's not going to set down in this area. It's not equipped to land in the exclusion zone. It's maintaining an altitude so it doesn't kick up any unnecessary dust, so you don't have to worry about that. You see the burning slag of what was the truck. The copter got it eventually. It was only a matter of time.
Absolutely.
You see, as you're kind of craning around, you see a pillar of black smoke coming from the landing pad from where the helicopter, or from where Sid had parked her helicopter.
So that thing's pretty much smoked right now. So,
I want you to go ahead and you're going to attempt to scale the staircase. Lisa, are you still planning on doing that, given the information that I presented?
I am going to... I'm assuming there are no movements from the slag of a truck.
No,
I'm sure that thing is
dead.
gone.
Oh yeah, they're very dead.
The only thing that I know of is the attack helicopter that's in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that thing could do is either spot us or call for backup. So we're just going to make this quick. And I'm going to pull out. I'm going to put my sniper rifle back.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell everybody to stand back. And I will pull out. Where'd it go? Just a second.
The big one?
The big guy. Pull out the rocket launcher. And let's get that thing out of the sky.
Yeah, I had kept asking you periodically, are you bringing everything?
Oh, yeah. I'm bringing everything. I didn't want to say exactly that I was carried. I got to leave a little suspense.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right,
for the fun times, like bringing down helicopters from the sky.
All right, so are you attempting to do it from where you're at, or are you going to try to angle to get a better shot? Because where you're at right now, this is going to be kind of a tricky thing to pull off. This isn't a guided rocket.
That's true. I will move to get better advantage, but not to a point where I am in harm's way.
Okay. Tell you what, go ahead and you can give me do a dex or int and sneak. Whichever one of those is better.
Nine.
DC of that was 8 to be undetected. You pulled it off. So
Very much so.
You're able, you kind of tell your escorts to hang back inside. You scuttle out through the rock slide. The helicopter's been kind of doing like a figure 8 like search pattern, and you know that it doesn't have a god's eye view of the battlefield. There's going to be blind spots, and you kind of wait for it to do a turn before you make your move. You ascend up to the first fighting position on the stairs, and you now can go ahead and take your shot.
Let's fire. Pew pew.
This is go ahead and make an attack roll.
And there's a D20 plus my attack bonus, which I don't think I have. 2. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a warrior. You should have a pretty good shoot here.
I'll take a nat 20.
Oof.
Odd duck dice.
Thank you, Rosie.
Oh my goodness. Which is wonderful because I've had crummy luck dice when it comes to like the D&D sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are nice to me.
So you're able to prop the rocket launcher up into the fighting position there, and I mean they're not guided, but it still has a digital there's digital optics on it to help you line up your shot.
Yeah,
and you see the helicopter start to make its return circuit to where you'd be seen. Pull the trigger, and you brace for the heat from the rocket getting shot. It streaks through the air, and it catches the helicopter frame square in the middle, turning the helicopter into a fireball. These things had no armor. These are patrol. Yeah. There's no armor. Yeah, you did a nat 20. Those things do 3d10. That was a full damage roll. Poof. Yeah. You took it out.
Turn around. Thanks for your help, boys. Start walking back in.
I want you to go ahead, though, here, Colin, before you go back down below. I was going to have you do this before you decided to take out the helicopter.
Yes.
I want you to go ahead and give me a wisdom and notice, please.
Wisdom and notice. $11. I'm changing these dice up just in case.
You look back towards the direction of town, and you see a large dust cloud kicked up. There's vehicles coming from town. There's a lot of vehicles coming from town. The thing about that helicopter, it caught the same broadcast that Sid did. They found the bunker.
They're coming for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, boys, as we're heading down, make it as difficult as possible to make it down to where we're going.
We have no demolition charges.
Just put stuff in the way. Old school it.
Okay. They actually have, they can deconstruct the barricades that are already up here and put them up against the blast door.
There we go.
Which they set about doing, and they really don't have much in the way of coordination as far as trying to figure out. You gave the order, but they're having a hard time figuring out the pecking order from there because they're all the same rank. They have a very stratified system of society down here.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, we're going to make this simple. Your lives depend on doing this correctly. You are soldiers. You know how to do this. You stayed where you were because you were able to stop them from coming to the spot. You can do this. Now, get your asses moving, and let's get the stuff packed. Let's go. If I had more of a charisma roll, I'd do something with it.
Okay, what was your
status?
Yeah, Colin, what is your so
actually, Colin status.
And another thing, if you don't move, we have vehicles on the move. We need to start moving quicker. We're going to try to give us as much distance as possible between us and when they can come in here. So what's the exit to the hangar?
That is a very good question.
There's only one other way out of the hangar, and that is the blast doors up above the ship.
There's a pair of blast doors above us, right above the ship.
And they haven't opened it up in 300 years because they can't?
At least that's the rumor. I don't believe we've found out. We can't open those doors yet.
Altus?
Yes.
Is there any way you could look into the door situation up top? We might have to move a little quicker.
I can attempt to. I may need to approach from the outside. I will be up to you momentarily. And storyteller, I'm going to make the roll.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 10. That's a 10 on my my suppression. I'm going to plug the line shunt into the data slab and just auto run it to produce food as I will go back the way that we came, using movement to 10 meter teleport level to level. Now that the doors are open, and I'm just going back towards Colin and the others.
And Colin, you're standing there kind of making idle chit-chat with the grunts.
I'm yelling at them.
Well, yeah.
And this weird guy who just showed up after 300 years is telling us what to do, but he seems to have a big rocket. So.
He knows what he's doing. And you're mid ass chewing, and you've had to break out the knife hand even.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Every sergeant develops the knife hand. When you feel your hair stand up on end, you get goosebumps. It smells like burnt ozone, and then Altus is standing right next to you.
You move fast. I like that. Just give me like 3 feet of space when you do that.
Understandable. I will need to go higher up, I believe, to locate the blast doors so I can attempt to move them from here. Could you point me, please, in the direction of our incoming traffic?
I'll point the direction. Altus, I will give you cover as well. Grunts, make sure we can get back through here and you can seal it off as soon as we get past these doors.
Thank you. Would you like for me to provide countermeasures to start?
Yes.
One moment, please. And I'm going to commit effort as a main action. And I'm sort of aiming forward towards the vehicles. Maybe about halfway between where they are and where we are. Preferably where the most debris and or corrosive sand is. And I'm applying a slip field.
Okay.
And as I push out, there's a sort of wave that goes through the dust in the air. And in that set location, for about 10-meter diameter, there is no friction whatsoever.
I love this. I love this power. As an aside, when we were talking after the first recording and we were kind of going over what everyone's powers were kind of tracking towards, I'm like, Zach, I want to see you use this. Just because I know Zach is such a creative player and I was wanting to see what he can do.
Well, we'll see how they do on their saves when they drive through. And then storyteller, as movement, I'm going to personal apportation up the building. It'll be a bit difficult to shoot me from afar since I'll be appearing and disappearing place to place, but I'm trying to get an overhead visual on where the blast doors are, if they are part of the building, if they are on the ground. Okay. And then moving my way towards those.
Understood. So what I'm going to have you do here, those vehicles are still a ways out. It's not like drop everything, holy shit, they're coming. You've got some time. Okay, so the only major roll that I'm going to have you make here, Altus,
yes,
is I'm going to have you do a wisdom,
yes,
and survive. These blast doors are designed to look like part of the landscape, and it's gonna.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you're gonna have to spend some time looking for this.
Am I able to factor in a rough estimate of how much distance I moved laterally to move back in that direction?
Oh yeah. No, the DC on this isn't like insanely high. You'll get this eventually. It just depends on how well you roll.
Fair. That is a 5 total.
Okay. The 5 was the DC limit that I had set for this here.
Okay.
You're going to be able to spot the doors, and you'll have enough time to get them open in a safe manner, without having to worry about running out of time for the convoy to get here.
Fair. I'm going to have to be creative with getting them open. I do not believe the doors are less than 400 kilograms.
No, they are not.
So I have another technique that I can apply. It may take a little bit more time than just pushing them open, but it should work.
Okay.
So at the doors, did I get a sense when I was in there of where the blast doors are located overhead in relation to the ship where the people are moving, congregating? Are they directly overhead? Are they... Okay. So that is one thing I don't want to do. I'm going to message down to Sid. Sid, could you tell me the rough shielding capacity of the ship that we are going to be on?
Okay.
For each other.
Yep. Okay, so this ship here, Sid, after you've been spending more time with it, this was actually like a VIP transport ship. Okay, that's why there's only one ship down below. This was the ship that the last remnants of the government used to get into this bunker. It doesn't have much in the ways of weaponry because it would have had an armed escort tagging along. As far as defensive capabilities go, this thing's got like medium grade shields, and as far as the armor on this thing goes, it could be better. It's designed to rely more on the fact that it's got escorts and it's got good shields. Once the shields are down, this thing's going to tear open like a tin can.
They're not really good shields there, Altus. This actually does rely... This one specifically is for, like, fancy schmancy people. This heavily requires on there being an escort vehicle. It has one rudimentary gun to it.
It does have shielding capability.
It does, but it's not... It's mediocre at best.
Well, no, the shields are decent. The armor's mediocre.
Oh, decent.
Yeah.
Sorry, the armor is mediocre. Shield is functional.
If the shield is functional and designed to take laser fire, it should suffice. Please activate the shields and have everybody stand clear of the ship. This will become dangerous.
Okay, I'm getting off. Okay, let's just...
Okay.
You may want to stay in the ship once you activate the shield.
I will? Okay.
It would be more prudent.
All right. In that case, then Sid's going to do so.
Okay. All right. So
I guess what else means start the engine. How does it start?
You do have to fire up the primary drive of the ship to power up the shields. So you do. The ship is effectively running at this point in time. Sid, she purrs like a kitten.
Oh,
even after being mothballed. This thing was the VIP transport ship of the old government. It's got a little bit of a whine to it that you're gonna have to take a look at eventually, but you couldn't have asked. This thing is better than some of the ships you've flown for the military.
I can't wait to get you up in the air. Oh, baby girl.
And you activate the shields.
Shields are activated.
Thank you. Has everybody moved clear of the ship?
Yep.
Everyone's clear.
Thank you. One moment, please, and I'll pick my hands up and they'll begin to vibrate as I plant them down on the blast doors and activate thermokinesis to melt the doors.
I was wondering what you were gonna do here.
I cannot open them. I will have to remove them.
We found the stars. We found the stars without number equivalent of fireballing open the locked door.
That deals 1d12 damage per level of telekinesis that I have. So that is going to be 17 damage that I've currently dealt to the doors on this application.
Okay.
And I will continue turn-wise to apply as necessary until the doors have melted sufficiently for the ship to be able to clear, even if it has to push some of the refuse out of the way upon exit.
Okay. All right. So the way that these blast doors are designed, it's kind of built into a flat or a relatively flat section of the mountain, and the rock is the rock face is actual rock face over the actual metal frame of the blast door. The rock gets hot, starts to turn to lava, and slag off the doors. It's going to take the equivalent of 3 rounds' time. There's no active combat going on right now. Altus, you're going to be at this for a minute. This is going to give everyone like one last chance to do any final prep work that they want to do before we look into getting the hell off planet.
My next 2 rounds of damage are 13 and 18.
Okay. All right, it's going to take one more round, or try one more round. 10. Okay. So, this, I think, this takes roughly about 5 minutes of game time. Altus, yeah, this is definitely stretching the extent of your systems here, but you're not in any, we'll say, physical danger right now. Okay, but you're definitely giving it all she's got. This is a lot of work.
Very well.
Now, Colin, the grunts have the door barricaded. You know that Altus is out there doing what he's doing. You're inside the bunker. What are you going to be doing here?
Altus, you good?
I need a bit more time to finish removing the doors. Hopefully, when they reach the center point of their travel, things will become more difficult.
And you'll still have...
Did you say remove the doors?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
And if you look up, you will see bits of molten metal start to drip onto the shield.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you hear "holy" and it cuts out.
And yeah, it's a little blip, but the slag drips down onto the shield, and it just hovers there. And there's a little, the faint shimmer of blue and purple energy discharging as the slag spreads and then actually boils off of the shield.
She just goes onto the ship's intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay clear of the ship until doors are completely removed. I repeat, until the doors are completely removed.
And there's also the general removed.
You heard me.
Now, the thing about Altus's plan here, Sid, I mean, yeah, it's totally viable, but the shields aren't designed to maintain a steady contact like this. Laser and kinetic engagements in space are done in the blink of an eye. Sustained shield expenditure like this, it can potentially stress the systems. So I'm gonna have you do a let's do a Dex or Con and fix, please.
Okay, I'm gonna do Dex and fix.
Okay.
Woo, that is an 8.
You're kind of sitting there, kind of ruminating on, gosh, this can't wait to get off.
Should I tell him?
And then whop whop whop. There's an alarm klaxon going off as the shield overload alarm starts going off. You spring up out of your chair and you start frantically stressing out over the unfamiliar systems. You get the power stabilized, but you're gonna have to make another roll here later. Now, Colin, what are you going to be doing here at this point in time?
As soon as we are done getting the door open for us up top, I will move everybody back down to where the ship is.
Okay.
And we will obviously wait for all the molten metal to stop falling before going to the ship. But just kind of take post and keep an eye on the hole that we're building up top and making sure that nobody, again, is following us, even though it's going to take them a while to get to us.
Okay, now Colin, you're sitting there, or you're standing there watching all of the clones trying to get their shit together so they can leave, and it's not going very well. It's like a repeat of the barricade situation up above. I need you, sir. Go ahead and give me a... Give me a charisma and lead.
Yeah. That's a 6.
I'm going to say that you are able to get them motivated. Be colorful with it.
All right. This is going to be the last time that I talk to you folk here. Get your asses in gear. Get your asses downstairs. We leave, and you're still just doing your thing right now, and we leave without you. And whatever's coming this way will come down here. And you ain't gonna have another 300 years.
The reality of the situation definitely takes hold, and they start getting their primary focus is now getting all of the foodstuffs that Altus has kindly started prepping for them. They're getting the essentials loaded up, or at least getting them staged to start loading up. Once the shields are down, they're going to be able to get onto the ship, and y'all can get out of here. Now, Altus, you've been above that itching sensation that the last time that you kind of pushed yourself during the breakout, or during the prison break. It's definitely coming back. This is why you all go in for your routine maintenance. And there's a reason why VI, given the loadout that you've been given, are even more doubly so required to go in and get fixed.
There's also a reason why there aren't others like me.
Mm-hmm. Why do you really want to go to space, Altus?
I don't know the answer. It's written into me. It feels more connected than a single speck in the sky.
There's a part of you deep down that is actually organic, isn't it?
My central nervous system, yes.
Yeah, you're not entirely mechanical.
I was. Until they decided to test this new direction. Psionics are still not common, and they're not particularly valued among the government here.
It's a risky thing having unfettered psionic talent floating around. Gotta find a way to keep it controlled somehow.
Less risky than it was for the psionic that they took this from to put into me.
And maybe that's the part of you that calls to the stars, or that the stars are calling to. But you're gonna get these doors open, one way or the other. That ship is the only thing that matters to you right now.
I look straight up as I continue to melt the doors.
Sid?
Altus, we have a situation.
Speak.
The shields can't take sustained heat on them. It's overloading the system. We need you to find an alternative to getting these doors open, or somehow pry them open.
Oh dear,
it's not handling the heat.
They're kinetic shields. Are they not? Then they take damage impact.
They'll take laser, but they won't take any sustained long-term damage that's going to be given to them.
Can they take general kinetic impact objects?
They can take laser, mostly because it happens in a flash. But as for any other kinetic, not so much.
Not sustained kinetic, which is the problem.
Not sustained kinetic.
But single impact.
Yes.
Single impact is correct.
Very well. Storyteller, I'm going to commit effort again. I'd like to use the back half of the rolls that I did. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to rapid switch to freezing.
Oh!
I'm going to quote Steven Universe in here and just be like, why don't you tell us about the things that you do?
I'm learning them as we go.
Yay!
And Altus, you... yeah. Okay, physics is physics. Makes sense. And you switch your protocol. The rapid flash freeze causes the doors to shatter. And chunks of ice are raining down onto the ship. And Colin, you're down below here. You are getting probably the best fireworks display you've ever seen in your entire life. And you've seen some pretty hot action during your time in the military. This is something else. You almost have to block your eyes from the flashes of the ice. It rains down onto the shield. It flash boils in a burst of light. The hangar is filled with steam. And Altus, you're staring down. Through the open shaft, you see the ship below you, glowing from the energy discharge of the shields. Lit up like a beacon.
I did it.
Can I see him?
Yeah, you could probably look up through the cockpit.
I'm waving. I see you.
Good job, Altus. Get back down here.
How far is the drop?
I would say from here, it's it would have been angled to, they wouldn't have had to bore all the way down. It's probably 50 foot.
50 feet?
Yeah.
That's a very quick takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that should be plenty for my apportation with movement. I will teleport you as close to the ground as possible.
Okay. I'll just... You gave Colin the personal bubble he asked for, but it's right outside that 3 foot.
Altus, I'm going to get a ruler.
That may be helpful.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, please make your way onto the vessel. We are about to take an immediate emergency takeoff. I repeat, we are taking an immediate emergency takeoff, so get your cans on this ship. Over and out.
And the clones don't need another order. Colin, you got him whipped into shape.
I'm going to shoot a glance at that second lieutenant, by the way.
He actually gives you a nodding approval. or a nod of approval, and he starts mustering his people. You'll make an officer out of him yet. Get the saltiest staff sergeant.
Oh, boy.
So, everyone is on board the ship. Now, with this being what it is, there's still rough welds. This thing was produced in a hurry, but it was still supposed to be top of the line as far as the government was concerned. There's enough room for the clones to... I mean, it's not the most comfortable of arrangements, but everyone's going to be able to have their own little 4 foot by 4 foot plot of deck. Now, Sid, you fire up the ship. Everyone's getting ready to rock and roll. Everyone's getting into the launch positions. You get ready to fire it up. We spoke earlier of those stations that everyone was going to kind of take up. Now, Sid, we can kind of collapse the bridge and captain's position into one, since you are the pilot and you are in charge of the ship. Altus, did any of those previous stations strike any of your fancy there?
Oh, no.
Okay. How about you, Colin?
Not really. Weapons is kind of my alley, but let the officer do that. I shoot the weapons, not watch over inventory and clean.
Well, no, the weapon station actually does shoot the weapons.
Oh, never mind. I'm in.
And you know what, Altus, we could probably put you in engineering just for the sake of having someone in engineering.
That may suffice.
Yep. So, Sid, you fire up the impulse, and there's that whine again. The whines in the impulse engines. That's where you're going to have to spend most of your time once you get this thing situated, and you really, if you plan on keeping the ship, that's what's going to need the work. But the ship lifts off, glides as smooth as butter.
Sweet Jesus, this is nice. Okay, focus. We gotta get out of here first.
And
admire her later.
The ship sees daylight for the first time in centuries. As you clear the mountain, you see that convoy that I was mentioning earlier.
They reached the location that I set.
They are just now reaching the slip field.
Every driver will have to make a Dex and pilot skill check.
There are 3 vehicles. There is a troop transport. All of the vehicles, you'll notice, are not on wheels or treads. There is a repulsor lift to keep the vehicles from making contact with the ground.
Fortunately, it doesn't matter because the field itself is frictionless.
Well, it still has, see, the repulsor still has to interact with the ground.
Exactly.
Oh dear Lord, this is actually almost even worse than if they were wheeled.
I don't know what you guys did. Bloody genius, every single one of you.
Dear Lord.
I'm glad to be making this maiden voyage with you guys.
Let me get my dice.
Let's see how this goes first before you congratulate.
Hold on, one more roll.
What are the numbers?
So the first number, that one was a 10.
Okay.
Second one was a 4.
Okay.
The third one was a 12. And I made the fourth roll for contingency purposes.
Does this system do tie goes to the instigator or tie goes to the defender?
Instigator.
The first and second vehicles lose control. The third one makes it through.
The third one didn't make it through because it failed a skill check to avoid getting hit by the other one.
Understandable.
That's what I rolled that other one for.
And with both of them going out of control, it's probably harder.
Mm-hmm.
So then, Sid, as you look down and you say that, you see the external vehicles jackknife inward to the middle one,
which promptly explodes.
I'm going to say that was planned. Well done.
As much as it can be.
See, the thing about making a surface frictionless, and it's got tread or wheels, it still has a general direction is going to keep going.
Yes.
And there's no... Yeah, it's going...
It'll go out of control and it'll go out of control in a forward direction for a round and hit any obstacles. I'd also like to add, if anybody does survive and they get out, they will not be able to move more than a meter per move action unless they make an evasion roll.
Well, you don't have to worry about that.
Covering all bases.
Yep. So,
and if they can get off the non-friction place, then they end up in the radioactive sands.
Exactly.
Wow.
And if they do,
just stay in the fire at that point in time.
It's quicker. So, Sid, you're in the ship. You angle it for escape trajectory. Up, up, up. You start to see the curvature. Blue gives way to purple, gives way to black.
Atlas, get up in here and window. Come and see this.
I'll walk through.
I'll join at the bridge.
Colin, you too.
Yeah, I'm joining at the bridge.
The three of you stare out the cockpit. The pale yellow of the system star isn't yellow out here in space, it's a bright white. It's almost blinding to look at. But you see the dingy brown and gray of Fromen, or of Tatum Prime underneath you. You can see where what remains of the planet's ocean system is still there. There's dried out basins from inland lakes that have long since evaporated. Higher, higher, higher. The ship's onboard computer chimes that's made contact with the sector or the system navigational network, and then from there the sector navigational network. You are now free to roam about the system, about the sector.
I put my hand on the viewfinder.
Sid, I think, is gonna, if there's some kind of like autopilot at this point, just let it just drift. She's just gonna like looking for Colin, just ready for a damn high five.
A high five. Just, if we ever come back to this planet, we'd better be taking it over.
Copy that. And then Sid's just gonna look over at Altus.
Altus is just seemingly looking at every individual star that he can make eye contact with.
Hey, Altus.
Yes.
Which one do you want to go to first?
All of them.
Is he nearby, sort of where the seating would be?
Oh yeah, all three of you are crammed up front.
Cool. Sid's just gonna, if it's cool with you, Zach, I'm just gonna take Altus's hand.
It's cold.
Well,
Thank
let's
you.
get to it.
Off into
Thank
the
you both.
black. We're in space.
Space!
Space.
And this is
Space.
where we'll end our Stars Without Number Prelude series.
Yes!
I plan on dragging more of this game out in the future. Intended on having this be just a simple introductory, hey, here's the game, here's how it's played. I will be the first to admit I do tend to go dirty and loose with rules as written. So for those of you who might be older heads when it comes to this game, yeah, I did things wrong. But
House rules.
Rule of cool.
yes, it's all about the fun here. I've probably been spamming affiliate links for DriveThruRPG where you can get the core book. There's tons of supplements available for this. I highly advise you check this game out. Super fun. If you've played D&D, the rules are very, very similar. You'll dig it. Promise. Stars Without Number. We're going to go ahead here and let everyone have the opportunity to say where you are, where you're at, where you're from, etc. and so forth, what you got going on. And we're going to go ahead and go in reverse order, and we're going to start with Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach Rivaudo, and I've been playing the role of Altus 266. Twitter handle, links, all the places that you can find me. I am on ATL by Night on Tuesdays, twitch.tv/ATL by Night. I'm on Adjacent by Night with Patrick and many other fine folks. You can see that on Saturdays. I am in a variety of things. As I do not know when this is airing, I cannot cite all of them, but I have participated in a Sabbat game that will be airing on Gehenna Gaming. I participated in a cult game that I ran for the Adjacent crew that will be on Vancouver by Night. I will have been in Sin City by Night over on the Bard's Playhouse. And I'm sure I'll be in many other things as well. I am wherever tabletop games are played.
Zach's a busy, busy guy. Next up is Rose.
Hey everyone, my name is Rose. You can find me at Instagram and on Twitter, and my links over there. But at Rose Bulbasaur, Rose_Bulbasaur, and TikTok at Rose Bulbasaur. I'm a creative partner here with Martlet Games, and I have run, and by this point, I think I might have finished part 2 of our Dancing with the Duke, the Regency era Vampire the Masquerade V5 game that I'm super proud of and very, very happy that we made. Might be in a series. Who knows? We'll see. I will also be running a unapologetically gay, unapologetically inclusive LGBTQIA+++ run cast and just fun-ass game called Pride by Night in time for the Pride season in June. I am also a player in a couple of games. Every other Tuesday, I will be playing with Nerd Asylum in a D&D game, playing a Bard Elf, and also D&D on Friday nights with Vancouver by Night, playing essentially Elsa but Mamir, Elena Caldwell. In the Frostbane game Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's at 5:30 p.m. PST on Friday nights. As always, keep your tables open, keep your tables inclusive, invite everyone because everyone's got a story to tell. I think the last one is Steve. Take us out of here.
Yes.
I just finish with that. See ya. Steven Rieger, creative partner here at Martlet Games, Twitter at Darth Generico, You can find me pretty much anything at that name. Things coming up right now, a couple one-shots that I'll be in. We are wrapping up our season of Indie Anarchs right now. If it's already over, go to YouTube, check that out. Currently working on finishing my writing to Death Pack 2. That's coming to a point where that's going to move swimmingly, and I'll be able to lay that on you whenever I feel like it. I have no restraints. You can't hold me down. And then might be finding something more structured since I have a change in work and stuff. You might find me picking up a game, running a game every other week somewhere. So stay tuned. Pay attention to what we do. Check out everybody here. We all do cool stuff.
And finally, I'm Patrick Gill, creative director here over at Martlet Games. You know the spiel, links, etc., so forth. As far as what we've got going on as of the time of this recording, we will actually be doing recording the part 2 of the Regency thing here in 2 days. So this is going to be coming out around the same time as a construct. We've got London's Bleeding, where I'm playing Rafe the Toreador with Steve. We've got, of course, various things going on with Vancouver by Night. There's Adjacent, Cult. I'm all over the place, too. Not as busy as Zach, but Zach gets around. Phrasing. But anyways, love you all. Thanks for watching. We'll be raiding into someone here. Don't know who. Appreciate the time. Love you all. Have a good night.
Hashtag space!
Space!